the 5 biggest offseason moves as is being posted in 937thefan.com. Number 5, Zach Frazier. You need a center. Of all the rookies, he has the clearest path to start. He would have to be really bad to not start. And they threw in a guy who played 3 games at center from Illinois in Kendrick Green with Ben Roethlisberger at quarterback at center. So while you might look at Tomlin's recent history and say, well, guys, they work guys in, not at center. Nate Herbig is a good player, but he's never played center for a ton of games in a row. In fact, I don't know if he's had an actual length of time at center in the NFL. It's always been guard. He's played it in practice. He can do it. I think he's had a few reps, but nothing of subsequence. And I think Zach Frazier is the 5th most influential newcomer. He's got that mentality they love. They know all about him. It's his job. Number 4, Russell Wilson. Heads into training camp, the new starting quarterback. I think there's no doubt about that. I have little doubt in my mind that he was told, listen, you're going to be the starter to begin with. And you're going to have to prove that you can still do it. But you're going to come here. You're going to be the starter. It's going to be your opportunity. This is a team that made the playoffs with 3 different quarterbacks last year. You can come here, show what you can do. And whether it's with the Steelers the following year or with whomever, you got a chance to kind of end on a higher note as opposed to what was happening in Denver. The numbers, 7 wins and 15 starts last year, 66% completion, 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. The problem with Russ are the sacks. 45 after he was dropped 55 times the year previously. But this is a huge chance for him to kind of reignite himself at 35. It's not unprecedented at quarterback to do that. Number 3 is who Anthony mentioned, Patrick Queen. Landon Roberts is in the final year of his contract. You don't know about Cole Holcomb's health. They've been very spotty and probably don't have a lot of details yet. It was a massive knee injury. Mark Robinson is the guy you drafted a couple of years ago. Still doesn't seem to have clicked. Maybe it starts to click, but you get Patrick Queen. And yes, Roquan Smith impacted the attention on Patrick Queen, but the athleticism, he's shown that he can do it in the league. He was a lot more consistent than what the Steelers have had since Ryan Shazier. In 4 years, he started every game, 454 tackles, 297 solo, 37 tackles for loss, 13.5 sacks, 15 passes defended, 5 forced fumbles, 6 fumble recoveries, 4 interceptions, and a touchdown. He's the 3rd biggest offseason move for the Steelers. Number 2, Justin Fields. You missed out on Kenny Pickett. It didn't work. For a combination of reasons, it didn't work. You moved on from Kenny. Now you brought in a guy who's a first-round pick who showed glimpses. He had his best completion percentage last year, has 40 touchdowns, 30 picks in his career. He's been sacked 135 times. Whether that's the Bears, him, you got a chance to figure that out. But he's the wheels that Mike Tomlin has discussed the last couple of years. The post-Ben wheels that he wanted at quarterback. Fields obviously has that. Then it's what's the competition like? Does he play? And what were the talks when you brought him aboard about signing him to a 2-3 year contract so he can be your quarterback of the future? You've declined the option, so he's going to be a free agent after this year. But you got a chance to have a franchise quarterback, guy, again, who's shown it. He's had a 4-touchdown pass game in the league. He's had electrifying runs in the league. He's made throws in the league. He's also turned it over. He's also taken sacks. That's the number 2 most influential newcomer. The number 1 is Arthur Smith. That coordinator doesn't get this thing going, they're not going anywhere. I don't care what the defense does. He's got to work with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and figure that one out. He's got to get the right combination at the line. And I'm saying it on him because he's the new OC. He was a head coach. He knows how to do this stuff. He had success in Tennessee. The numbers in Atlanta, well, his first year there, they were 26th in scoring. Then they went to 15th in scoring. All right, in 2022. In 2023, they were 26th in scoring. And that's the bottom line. He was a head coach. He's got a backfield where he pretty much split carries with Najee Harris, who's now going into the final year of his contract. He's got to make sure that Najee's head is where it needs to be. You've got Jalen Warden. You brought in Patterson, a guy that you had with you. It's Freiermuth last season. You're trying to work, he's going to want to work the middle of the field. That's not where Russell Wilson really likes it, but can he bring something with his background having tight ends make plays? Can he make that position more impactful for the Steelers? Can he bring something out of Darnell Washington? Now, Washington's got to stay healthy. That's first and foremost. But can he do something to make that better? None of this goes anywhere if Arthur Smith doesn't make it happen offensively. You can have Russ Wilson. You can have Queen on the other side wreaking havoc. If that offense doesn't figure it out, it seems like the line is better. They're still missing a number 2 receiver. Pickens doesn't really have anyone of NFL experience. I mean, there's been times where Van Jefferson, as Ray mentioned last segment, where he had I think it was 1,000-yard season with the Rams. Quez Watkins can make some plays in the slot. You can run him in motion. Roman Wilson is an unknown. I mean, he did some nice things in Michigan, didn't get a ton of opportunities, but dropped one pass his senior year at Michigan. Arthur Smith is the key and is the biggest key of the offseason. And we'll hear about offense. We'll show you what little we can. Obviously, we're not able to show to videotape or take anything other than stills of what's going on during their practice setting when they're installing stuff for understandable reasons. We're going to see little bits and pieces. Then we'll see it more in training camp. We'll see parts of it in preseason action. Is it going to be the Tennessee offense where there's a lot of running the football and big plays? Or is it going to be more frustration? This doesn't happen without Arthur Smith. He is the number 1 biggest offseason move that the Steelers have made this offseason. And as they go into OTAs, it's about him bringing that group together.